Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Omotola, where we have real, powerful conversations designed to inspire brilliant minds to build influence, income, and impact from their expertise. So if you're a professional sitting on your brilliance and unsure how to monetize it, this conversation is for you. We are currently on a 60-day journey, and this is episode 2. So let's go. Today, I'm going to be sharing something very practical and very personal. How I secured my government role as an academic specialist working with Prince George's County Public Schools under the Department of Education here in Maryland. So more than just the what, I want to walk through the trials and the triumphs that made me who I am today. Because many people see the results, but they don't understand the process. Many people see the result, but they don't understand the process. And when I first stepped into this space, it wasn't smooth at all. If you listen to my first video, you will know how I got here. And it wasn't automatic, it wasn't handed to me. There were moments of uncertainty, transition, rejection, and honestly, I questioned my worth. Because remember, before I came to America, I was a senior lecturer in a University of Technology, the Cape Peninsula University of Science and Technology. And before then, I was a chief lecturer in a University of Education back in Nigeria. I was on the top of the cadre in the academic, in the ivory tower. And so coming to America and seeming as if I had to start all over again was very unsettling for me. It questioned my move. I questioned, why am I even in America? Why did I even do this? I questioned if I did the right thing. Although I knew I did the right thing for me and my family, but I questioned a lot of things. I was like, is it really worth it? Because I was just like, I thought that it was going to be so easy, but it wasn't. And honestly, this is why I am having these conversations with you. And subsequently, I'm going to be inviting people to be on these conversations with me. But I wanted to use this first 7 days or probably 10 days to talk about, for you guys to get to know me. And if you have not met me before, my name is Dr. Omotola. I'm popularly known as the executive academic here on social media. And what I do is that I am an academic specialist now with the Prince George's County, but I'm an academic by profession, and I'm an executive coach by commission. This is my assignment, and I help brilliant minds and brilliant people to be able to build income, impact, and influence from their expertise. In other words, what I do is I help brilliant people, especially academic professionals and career professionals, build a business from their brilliance. So let's go. So I had the qualifications and I had the experience, and I realized something very quickly. Having brilliance is one thing. Positioning is another thing entirely. There were rooms I knew I deserved to be in, but I had to learn how to present myself in those rooms. You know, after a while, I now began to think about it. I had to bloom where I was planted. I had always been in academia. Remember, I had said that I wanted to be in the corporate world, but spending months in the corporate world, I knew that I could not really grow there. Number one, why? Because the American corporate land space is very dynamic, in the sense that you can get fired anytime. There was no stability there. There was no security there. There was money, but there was no security. I'm not used to that. In academia, you get a job in academia, your stability. There's stability there. We don't get a lot of money, but you have a lot of time to yourself. And that's why I've been able to build my business. I've been able to build this business since 2020, helping people, coaching, consulting, training, doing workshops and all of that. And so now finding myself in the corporate space, I'm not even allowed to take phone calls. I'm not allowed to really navigate my time for my own personal self. If they own me, that was very unsettling for me. And I realized that wanting to be in the corporate was just because of the aesthetics, because of the beauty, because of the dressing, because of the environment. I really love the environment. Corporate America is a very beautiful environment. However, it didn't give me that job security. There was no job security. You could be fired today, you could be praised tomorrow and fired the next day. It's just crazy. It was very crazy. And so I knew that I had to own my brilliance. I had to own myself. I had to own my job. I had to own the brand called me. I had to sell myself. And academia doesn't really make you sell yourself. They don't teach you how to sell yourself. In fact, in academia, when you sell yourself, you will be termed and deemed braggadocious. You get puffed up, and it's not really acceptable in academia. In academia, there's a way you have to be subtle about your, you can get puffed up by your qualifications, but you can't sell yourself. We're not taught to be ourselves. And so I had to really learn all of those things, because I now realized that in America, there's money here, but being an entrepreneur here is so rewarding. It's rewarding. In America, being an entrepreneur is rewarding. Even if you have a job, also having a business by the side helps you reduce your tax rebates to the government. You get quite a lot of tax return just because you have a business. There's so many advantages of having a business here in the US. And consulting, coaching, training, and all of these online businesses that brilliant people can do is a phenomenal way to sell your expertise and still retain a lot of your taxes. Anyway, so the turning point for me was that I stopped thinking just like a professional, and I started thinking like a value-driven expert. I began to ask myself, how do I communicate my impact? How do I align my experience to what is needed here? How do I show up not just as qualified, but as indispensable? And all this shift changed everything, because I realized that I have expertise in education. I had a passion for teaching. My first forte, or my first core love, is teaching. I am a natural teacher. I know how to break concepts into simpler substances that people can easily absorb. I can navigate through the classroom. I treat my classroom as a boardroom. In fact, I was able to navigate that from corporate America to say, okay, now that I'm in a classroom, or now that I'm in a lecture room, how do I bring the boardroom into my classroom? So I was able to just change that mindset, and then cause me to be the brilliant one, to be in charge of my future, of my career. Because careers are really, they are not there. You can create your own career. And that is what I did. And that mindset shifted for me. And the triumph came when I eventually secured the role as an academic specialist, because now I put all my expertise, all my credentials, everything that I have learned, my experiences, I put it together. And this time, it was not difficult for me I love the environment. It was not difficult for me to convince them that I was the person they were looking for, because I had everything they needed. And more so, I presented myself as a value-driven expert. Do you understand? So that was how I got the job. And it's a government job. It gave me more money. It gave me more peace of mind. It gave me more time to also do my business by the side. And so with respect to a job, looking for a job or finding that career for you, you have to sit down and think about it. What is it that you really want? And what is it where does your passion, interest, your propensity, where do they merge? And how can you intersect that and find your win spot? There's something I call win spot. And these are one of the things that I teach in my mentorship program. So eventually I secured my role as an academic specialist within the PG County. And let me tell you this, it wasn't just a job. It was a validation of position. I love my job. And it was a proof that when your brilliance is properly aligned, communicated, and presented, opportunities will begin to open and respond to you. So what are the lessons? If you're watching me right now, there are 3 things I want you to take away. Your qualification will open the door, but your position will get you in. You must learn how to translate your experience into impact. So they asked me questions during my interview, and asked me a couple of questions, and asked me, if you were to find yourself in this way, how are you going to solve this problem? And because this is what I have been doing all my life, I had taught in the University of Education. I'm a teacher of teachers. In the University of Education, where I was in Nigeria, I was to train teachers. I come from a teacher training background. I remember that my background also is chemistry education. So I had a double major. I had a chemistry major, and I also had an education major. After then, I went to do my master's in industrial chemistry, and then I did my PhD in environmental chemistry, particularly renewable sustainable energy systems. But my background is in education, and that's what I love. I am a perfect candidate when it comes to this field of work. And of course, I love child psychology. I love learning psychology, educational management. All of those things were where I had my A's when I was doing my undergrad. So I had a lot of experience and expertise. So you must learn how to translate your experience into impact, not just what you have done, but what it produces. How are you going to impact the people that you want to work with? How are you going to change that environment? There must be a correlation from your experiences into what you want to do and impact. And that is what I'm going to be talking about in the next episode, with another episode regarding bloom where you have been planted. I see a lot of professionals come to America, in this case America, or go to UK or go somewhere else and really want to pivot a venture. They want to pivot, 360 degrees. I personally believe it's not right. It's not advisable, except in some few cases. So for example, when I came and I was finding it difficult to really navigate the career market, one of my friends told me, why don't I go into nursing? I was like, nursing? After I've spent 25 years in academia, how will I go into nursing? I start nursing school just because the nursing or the healthcare system in America is very stable. And I was like, I don't even have a passion for nursing. I don't have a passion for medical. I can't even stand the sight of blood. So why would I go into nursing just because I want to earn money? But I can turn my business into a business. I don't have to be at the mercy of anybody. If today the government say they don't want me anymore, my consulting is making more money than what I'm earning. And that's what I want for you. Today I'm speaking. I do speak it. As a matter of fact, I'll be going for a summit in Zanzibar, sponsored by the African Women Summit. I will be speaking, and I'm also building my speaking profile in such a way that when I want to speak, I should be earning at least not less than $5,000 to $10,000 when I speak as a keynote address speaker. So your brilliance is something that you can monetize. You don't have to be at the mercy of anybody, or maybe at the mercy of any conglomeration or organization before you can survive. And that is exactly what I'm trying to pass across. And the third thing is that rejection is not a denial of your brilliance. Everywhere I was rejected, everywhere I was fired in so many jobs, everywhere I was rejected, everywhere where I felt out of place, it was not a denial of my brilliance, or it was not a denial, it was a refinement of my positioning. I had to position myself in a place where I will be in the win spot, where my passions, my propensities, and my income potential all merge together. And that is what I teach in my mentorship. So this is where many brilliant academics, professionals, careers get stuck. They are educated, they are experienced, they are capable, but they are not strategically positioned. And because of that, they remain overlooked, underpaid, or stuck in cycles of waiting, just like I was. And that is why I have built a mentorship program. That's why I built a mentorship program. They are not just strategically positioned, and because of that, they remain overlooked, underpaid, or stuck in cycles of waiting. And that is why that is exactly why I created the Dr. Omotola mentorship experience, building the business of your brilliance. Because I don't just help you get opportunities. What I do is I help you position your brilliance. I help you package your expertise, and I help you build systems that create influence, impact, and income. So you're not just chasing roles, just like I did when I came to America. You are attracting opportunities. This job was attracted to me. They found me. And when I got the job, they knew that they had struck gold. I knew I had struck gold. And if you're at the point where you know I am capable of more, but I need clarity, structure, and positioning, that is exactly what I help professionals to do in Dr. Omotola mentorship experience, building the business of your brilliance. The waitlist is open, and comment waitlist and I'll send you a DM, or comment Brilliance and I'll send you the link to sign up. You can click on the link in my bio for more details, or click on this link here somewhere on the video and access more details. And as we continue this 60-day journey, I want you to remember this: your brilliance is not the problem. Your positioning might be. And once you fix that, everything will be changed. Your brilliance was never meant to be hidden. As a matter of fact, it was meant to be built into a business. I can't wait to see you in episode 3. Toodles.